Hey pillars, welcome back to a brand new video. Today I'll be comparing super bikes and value bikes and what would I buy with the savings if I decided to go for a value bike rather than buying a super bike. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. So before we jump right into this video, I'm going to kindly ask that you guys like this video and subscribe, and I'm going to give you guys a challenge. If you can get 50 likes on this video, I'll know that you guys are very interested and I will continue to do more of these videos. So the two super bikes that we're going to be looking at first are the Specialized S-Works Athos Dura-Ace Di2. I have it on my monitor right here, retailing for $2,500 USD. Now this is absolutely crazy. This was released a while ago and it really broke the internet because it is a lightweight bike that is actually a disc brake bike as well, but it comes into two colors and I kind of like the very clean, simple, very minimalistic look that it's going for. It doesn't have any S-Works logos on it on the frame, and it also comes in this other color as well, and they call it a flake silver red gloss chameleon, which looks pretty nice as well. And this is a super bike. So basically, I'm going to show you guys the first bike, and this has a carbon frame, fork, and seat post, hydraulic Dura-Ace Di2 11 speed, dual-sided power meter, which you guys know I absolutely love. It has a light frame, which for a 56 centimeter frame is claimed a weight of 585 grams. So very, very light. And the carbon rims are non-tubeless, but these are Rovels. So you can see this is the first super bike that we're looking at, and the price that we have is $12,500 USD. That is absolutely insane. Now the next super bike we're going to be taking a look at is the new released, well, it's been a couple months since it's actually been released, but it's the S-Works Tarmac SL7 Dura-Ace Di2. Now this comes into two colors. This is kind of like a Ferrari red. I like the nice color gradient that it has with the black, the nice fade into the red, and it also comes in this more metallic color, which I absolutely love. I love simple dark colors, and this is retailing for $12,300 USD. So absolutely insane in terms of pricing. These are super bikes. This is basically what a pro rider would be riding on in the pro peloton, and it has a carbon frame, fork, and seat post, hydraulic Dura-Ace Di2 11 speed, dual-sized power meter, carbon rims, Rovels. These are a little bit deeper than the Athos that we just took a look at, and they're not tubeless, so these are just normal clinchers. And this is the all-around race bike, so it has aerodynamic flares, but also good for climbing and all the stuff that the Tarmac was known for. Now, in terms of the value bike, I'm going to try to make these videos actually faster too, so if you guys do like this new format, just let me know in the comment section down below. But we have the Tarmac SL6 Sport that we're looking at right here. It comes in a variety of colors. So we just have the nice dark color specialized on the logo. We have this cast blue metallic, not the nicest color. And then we have some weird fade, very fluorescent yellow and lime green, bluish type going on. So these are the different colors. Specialized has interesting colors, and it's retailing for $2,800 USD. Now you might be asking, what do you get on this bike? You get a carbon frame and fork, 105 hydraulic group set 11 speed. So if you guys know anything about the 105 group set, I absolutely love it. I rate it. I have it on my TCR that I've been riding for more than 20,000 kilometers, and I've rated everything. So the 105, the current gen, is totally awesome. Aluminum rims. These are clinchers, so they're not tubeless. And I'm pretty sure this is a semi-compact crankset and with an 1130 rear cassette on the back. So pretty much a very good level entry. You can race on this bike, you can do group rides on this bike, you can travel with this bike, you can tour on this bike, you can do a lot of things with this bike. So that's the first value bike that we have on the lineup. This is just another angle of the bike. Now we're going to be taking a look at the TCR Advanced 2-Disc Pro Compact 2021. This is retailing for $2,500 USD. So you're saving $300. But the difference on this TCR and the Tarmac that we just took a look at is you can see that the 105 crank, you don't get a 105 crank on the Giant TCR. You're actually getting a Shimano RS 510 5236, so semi-compact. And you know, I'm not going to say necessarily that the 105 crankset has better power transfer. I think it's very minimal, but just from in terms of build quality, especially when I've seen it, the 105 build quality is just better than this crankset. That's my only 2 cents on it. It still would perform decent. You wouldn't be getting dropped because you don't have a 105 crankset, but this is a carbon frame and fork. This also has a 105 hydraulic group set 11 speed, just like the Tarmac SL6 Sport that we just took a look at. In terms of the gear ratio on this bike, we have a 5236 semi-compact crankset and 1130 rear cassette on the back. And this is aluminum rims, but these are tubeless rims, so that's one advantage that you don't get on the Tarmac SL6. But one thing I'm going to note, if you guys have been following the channel, I've already made countless videos talking about my experience Giant has the worst warranty I've ever experienced with a bike company. The PR2s that actually come on this bike are the same rims that I have, but in rim brake form, that broke on me less than 2,000, 3,000 kilometers worth of riding, and basically tried to get it warranty, but Giant wouldn't actually send me out a replacement rim, and they were very bad in terms of customer service. I made a whole video on it, so if you guys want to check it out, check it out. I'm not going to rant too much. I'm just giving you guys a warning that, you know, on these value bikes, the only downside is the rims, where some value bikes you get pretty decent standard stock rims, and on the Giant, from my experience with very low level of riding, because it was just at the start of the season, the spokes broke on me and the warranty was absolutely terrible. But that's my 2 cents, that's my opinion. So anyways, now we kind of have a comparison of the super bikes and the value bikes. So if you go ahead with the value bike, you're basically saving $10,000, which is absolutely insane. So it's around 9,600 USD that you have now to spend if you go with the value bike. Now, my opinion, from riding on very expensive bikes and riding on very great value bikes, my 2 cents is this. Unless you're racing or sponsored, or you have money just to spend and to burn, you know, a good value race bike, which is 2,500 USD and up, will get the job done, no problems. The Giant TCR that I have on my back, other than the terrible warranty situation with Giant, in terms of performance, the bike performs very good. And there's other brands such as the Tarmac SL6. Now, the price is a little bit inflated. Hopefully, they probably have a better warranty if the price is a little bit more increased. That's not to say definitely, because I've heard horror stories with a multitude of brands. But value bikes offer such a good performance where you're getting basically a great value, but you can also race on it, and it performs, I would say, exceptionally pretty much the same in terms of functionality, because it really comes down to the rider. And I know if you guys race or do group rides, there's people that you're dropping, if you are fit, if you are strong, if you ride a lot, that are on $10,000 bikes. So the only time I really see this being very crucial is maybe if you get to a very elite racing where, you know, time is everything, weight savings is very important. But guys, unless you're racing at that point, which majority of people aren't, I don't think it's the most necessarily key factor that, you know, should be taken in when buying a bike. So when they advertise the Specialized Athos, oh my God, the frame is so light. Have you really yourself as a rider tried to get as fit as you can? And at that point, if you guys have, then that's awesome. That should be like your main focus, not necessarily your componentry. Yes, it plays into a factor. You should want decent parts to actually motivate you to ride. You don't want to shift and things are clunky and not shifting. But I think anything 3,000-ish USD, being that like the max, is more than enough to get you riding, and you can pretty much race that bike on an elite level and still win if you train a lot. So that's my little 2 cents. Now, with that being said, you're saving about 10,000 USD from buying the value bike versus the super bike. So what would I do with the savings? A lot of people ask that. Would I buy a car? No. Would I buy, you know, something else, like expensive clothes? No. This is what I would do, because I get this question asked a lot to me. So I love cycling and I love traveling. So, you know, put those two together, and what do you get? A cycling vacation / holiday. So I would probably want to go to Spain, because Spain is kind of like the hub of cycling around the world. Now, there's other parts such as France and Italy and the Alps and whatnot. But I think in terms of value, Spain is such a good value, especially if you're on a budget, which is something I always love to talk about, is just value. You're getting a pretty good trip experience, probably some of the best riding, and the price is very fair as well. So to go from Toronto, Canada, which is where I live, to Spain, I would actually go to the island of Tenerife, which is off the coast of Morocco, near Africa. If you guys don't know, I didn't know this. And for a round trip flight on Air Canada, it would cost around 964 USD, so almost $1,000. And an Airbnb, which we're gonna take a look at, which Airbnb would I actually stay at? You know, yet again, guys, I'm all about value, so I don't need anything super flashy. And this Airbnb for 2 weeks, I'm assuming that majority of you guys won't be able to take more time off work, so 2 weeks is a pretty realistic time frame, and you're about spending 819 USD for 2 weeks at this Airbnb. So if we start at the very beginning of the pictures, this is, I think, a 2-bedroom apartment in Palmar. It's near the south. I'll show you guys on the map. It's near Los Cristianos and Playa de Americas. I know I probably butchered those names, but basically near the hub. You want to stay in the south if you do stay in Tenerife. I have yet to go, and I'll get into that. But the south is the best, because during the winter, if you guys go during the holidays, it gets really cold up north. So a lot of the good riding starts in the south. And on top of that, the climbs for the famous volcano, longest climb, I'm pretty sure, in all of Europe, starts in the south. I think you can go from north to south. It's just Majority of all the pro riders stay in the south and train. Now taking a look at the map, you can see Morocco's right here, Spain's up here, and the island is down here. We zoom in, there's 3 islands. Tenerife is to the left of Gran Canaria, which is the main island, and this is in the south. So I suggest if you guys do plan on going on a cycling vacation, I really want to hit up this island for my winter training, but because of the whole global situation, it just wasn't realistic with all the lockdowns and restrictions. I just didn't really want to be in a situation where things get canceled and I have a lot of credits, and it'd be a lot of confusion because things are changing every day, sometimes by the hour. So I said I'd scrap it until things hopefully get a little bit more stable. But I love making these videos because obviously you got to plan these things out. So I know you guys like watching comparisons, value stuff. So I thought, you know what, a lot of people always talk about these super bikes, but what would you get actually in terms of you save that money and did something else with it, which brought me to this video idea, which I'm so happy and excited to make. So a bike bag for this trip for 2 weeks is around $50 per week. So for 2 weeks, $100. And now this gives me to the total of what we have. So we have the bike that we bought for 2,700 USD. The flight is almost 1,000 USD. The Airbnb, 819 USD for 2 weeks in a pretty much downtown, more or less. $100 for the bike bag for 2 weeks. Now I gave a budget of around 200 USD for 2 weeks worth of food. Now this is grocery shopping, so you get the essentials of rice, potatoes, veggies, juice, fruit, and whatever else you guys eat. Your budget would probably go pretty much fast if you guys ate out a lot, especially if you ate dinners and went to cafes all the time. Now I'm not saying you guys can't do that. I'm just saying the budget would actually go very fast, and I've experienced that firsthand. So that's why when I make these value and budget videos, I like to really keep it as lean as I can to get to maximize the best value that you guys can. Now, majority of everyone watching this most likely wouldn't have bought a super bike to begin with, because I myself probably won't buy a super bike anytime soon. But the reason why I want to make these videos is because a lot of the thought process that I have when it comes to buying bikes and comparing bikes and valuing bikes, that can trickle down to the normal rider that might get sucked into buying a $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 bike. Now these bikes are double that price, being $12,000, but the same principle applies. You think, oh, I need carbon rims, I need this upgrade, I need that upgrade. And in reality, oh, I need it to be this light. In reality, the reason why I make these videos is to show you that you can actually really maximize your value that you're getting and have probably a better overall experience. Now going back to the overall budget for this trip, with bike included, we're spending around 4,783 USD, so almost $4,800, and you still have left over 7,517 USD. So hypothetically, right now, you're going to be going on a 2-week cycling vacation in heaven, in paradise, where all the pros train during the winters, where it gets on average 20 degrees, nothing really below that. If 18 degrees, it's very, very hot. So it means you can train very, very often. And I think that's amazing that you have 7,517 USD left over. Now, if we take the trip alone for 2 weeks is around $2,000, which I think is still a steal. And you're already going to have your bike. So with that 7,517 USD dollars left over, you can almost go on 3.7, we'll round it up, almost 4 more cycling trips with the savings if you guys don't go for the super bike and actually go for the value race bike, which I think is crazy. So not only did you get to go to Spain, but you guys can go 4 more times on another cycling vacation with your value bike. The fact that you guys can go on 4 more trips with your new value bike instead of having the super bike, and even if you don't want to go on more trips, the availability of that is still there. And if not, you guys can save that money for other things that you need in your life, which I think is so important, especially during these times. So I think this video is just so important to really highlight the fact that you can pretty much have 5 trips plus a bike, which I think is amazing. So I think that's the thing that I find funny, is that a lot of people buy these $6,000, $8,000 bikes, and the reality is I've yet to see a lot of $12,000, $13,000 bikes on group rides. I've seen my fair share of 6 to 9K bikes on group rides, right? And I'm not saying that these people don't travel. I'm just saying that, you know what, it would be pretty, relaxing knowing that, hey, you know what, you can buy a great value race bike that will get the job done. You're not going to get dropped. It'll probably perform just as nice if I'm being genuinely honest. And on top of that, you can actually enjoy the bike rather than just riding it maybe in your same area and doing the same loops. So you can actually enjoy and have a true cycling experience. Especially in North America and here in Toronto, we don't have anything, I would say, super scenic. Now, I'm not saying Ontario doesn't have its fair share of good quality riding. It's just a little harder to find, especially if you guys are in a more densely populated area, such as the downtown core, which I more or less am. I'm pretty close to downtown. I'm not necessarily in downtown, so I'm pretty lucky I get to experience some good quality riding. But the one thing that I find crazy with Europe is you can definitely be like in a downtown core like Girona in Spain, but in about 5 to 10 kilometers outside the city, you can get into some pretty nice, good quality climbing, hills, training. So that's one thing I love about talking about these videos, and that's what I was really planning on doing myself, was actually start traveling, start riding different places, start traveling to places I see on Instagram, because I actually want to experience it for myself. I want to enjoy my riding. The bike is the bike. The bike gets the job done. I think there's a good key factors that if you have the money to burn, definitely buy a super bike, because obviously why not if you have the money to burn and still travel. But if it's between having a really blinged out bike or having aluminum rims and like a value race bike, I'd rather have that and be able to travel and experience my bike and enjoy my bike and really have long life memories of actually riding, rather than just pulling up to group rides on a super expensive bike. That's just my 2 cents. That's my thought process. To each is their own. And if you guys really do like me making these videos, I'm planning on making some other videos talking about other places that I'd like to travel. And I think these videos are pretty interesting because before I actually did a lot of research, I didn't even know Tenerife existed. So I think it's really cool and something that hopefully you guys learn. I'll probably make maybe a more in-depth look. I was really planning on vlogging my experience and my riding experience over there during the winter, but obviously that's not going to happen. So if you guys do want to see more content, I guess, on cycling, traveling, like this video, comment where you guys have been in terms of where you've cycled or where would you guys like to cycle, and whether or not you guys like the value race bikes or you really don't care and you're willing to burn your money and buy really expensive bikes. Because when you really do the calculations, a lot of the times I've realized people just think of the now rather than the future. And what I mean by that is, you know, when I've bought my bikes, I really critically think, you know, what's the point of me buying this bike? What am I going to get out of this bike? And if I go for a different tier or different level bike, what could I actually get with the savings? Or do I just save in general? Depends on what the situation is, right? So I hope you guys found this topic pretty interesting. I liked making it myself just because I've been doing this pretty much in the past couple of months. And until the next one, keep on pedaling.